Hey everyone, this is Craig Fear with Fearless Eating. Welcome to my kitchen today. Today I'm going to show you how to make a poor man's lobster. Super fun, simple recipe, great for the summer. In a way, it's almost like a fish boil. So basically, what we're doing is we're taking whitefish and we are kind of mimicking, we're kind of preparing a solution here that's going to mimic the taste and the texture of lobster. So it's kind of like a fish boil. We're boiling fish, and it's great for like summertime. It's like you can serve it with, classic like boil recipes, whether it's a fish boil, clam boil, shrimp boil. So things like corn on the cob, potatoes, onions, stuff like that. But it's using whitefish, so it's not actually lobster. Obviously, lobster being kind of expensive. We are trying to mimic that with fish. And it's actually really delicious and actually gets pretty close to the flavor of lobster, especially when you use what I'm going to use today, which right here is monkfish. Now let's just talk about the fish real quick. You can use any type of whitefish you want. I'm a big proponent of sustainability. I wrote this book, got to promote myself a little bit, New England Soups from the Sea, where I want people to use, New England seafood in their soups, not just go to the store and get the cheapest thing on sale from, wherever, Europe or Asia. So do the best you can, whatever whitefish, is local and sustainable to you. What I see most often in recipes is cod and halibut. Now, where I am in New England, those are not the best choices, the most sustainable, environmentally friendly choices. Cod's been overfished, halibut's very depleted. So if you can, choose a different type of whitefish. If you want something like cod, Atlantic pollock is great. It's in the cod family, very similar, or hake. Sometimes a kind of like a dense, meaty, kind of full-flavored fish like striped bass or even bluefish is a really good kind of choice here. But what I'm going to use today is monkfish, and it's the one I really recommend. Monkfish is actually, sometimes it's referred to as poor man's lobster, not dealing with this recipe, but just on its own, because it has very kind of dense, kind of meaty white flesh, similar to lobster. It almost tastes like lobster. It's very sustainable. It's a ground fish, very sustainable here in New England. So that would be, I think it's the best choice by far. That's what I got. All right, let's dig in here. In about a medium-sized stock pot, 8-10 quart, fill about halfway with water, and about maybe 2.5 quarts. I got it boiling, I got it ready. And what we're going to do is, it's so simple. It's just a handful of ingredients. Take the lid off here. Woo! All right. 3/4 cup of white sugar. All right. 1/4 cup salt. And about half of a lemon cut into 2 to 3 pieces. I'm going to put that in. It's going to take the water temperature down. Dissolve it. And then bring it back to a boil. When it comes back to a boil, take a minute or two. Cut the heat a little bit so it's not aggressively boiling. Bring it down to like a rolling boil. And then I'll check back with you. We'll put the fish in. And it's really, really simple after that. Okay, so the water has come back to a boil. And I got it like a nice gentle rolling boil. I got my monkfish here. I've cut it into, about yay-sized pieces. About 1 inch thick, 1 inch by like 1 to 2 inches. And I'm just going to put them in there. And you're just going to let it cook. It'll sink to the bottom. And this is why you kind of want like a medium stock pot, not like a little kind of tiny saucepan. It'll overflow. So a nice medium-sized stock pot. It'll take a few minutes. The fish will kind of bring the temperature down, but just watch it. Make sure it doesn't boil over. It might foam a little bit. You can just skim that out if you want. But then watch for it to. It's done when the fish rises to the surface and floats on the surface. It's gonna take 5, maybe 10 minutes at the most, and that's pretty much it. Now, in the meantime, when this is cooking, I've already done it, but I don't know if you can see in there. That's not the best camera setup. But anyway, melted butter. melted butter. Cut yourself some lemon wedges. If you want a little seasoning like Old Bay-like seasoning, I use a seafood seasoning from Frontier that I love. I think it's really delicious. A lemon pepper, whatever you want. And that's pretty much it. I'll cook. I'll check back with you in just a minute once it's fully cooked. Okay, it's been about 5-6 minutes. I can see that the monkfish has kind of risen to the surface. That means it's done. One thing I might have forgot to mention, just to emphasize, is that the solution we did of the salt, the sugar, the lemon, that's what kind of toughens up firms up. I shouldn't say toughens, but firms up the whitefish to mimic the texture. You know, lobster's very dense and meaty. To mimic that texture, it also kind of flavors it a little bit. So once it rises to the surface, don't stir it, especially if you're using like cod, like a flaky whitefish. It could kind of flake apart a little bit. Monkfish is usually fine because it's a bit denser. But once it's risen to the surface, as it is now, I just kind of put a line of baking sheet with some paper towels. Just kind of scoop it out with a slotted spoon. And then you're pretty much good to go. I got my butter. I got my lemon wedges. And then I'll show you my little seasoning that I really like. And I'll just check back in with you one last time, and I can't wait to give this a taste. Oh yeah, all right. All right, so that's it. Got it right here. I don't know if you can see it very well. My monkfish, poor man's lobster pieces. I'll put a nicer picture on my blog. Also, I'll kind of throw in a few more details on my blog post. You can find it in the description box below, a link over to my blog. I'll put my book in there too. And of course, do not forget butter, melted butter and lemon, like the most important thing. I think it's just like, even with lobster, I need the butter, I need the lemon. And then one last little thing. I think I mentioned this before. You can any seasoning you want. I really love this little seasoning from Frontier, seafood seasoning. It's like Old Bay, but like organic version. Celery seed, garlic, black pepper, salt, stuff like that in there. So let's give it a shot here. This I already squeezed a little bit of lemon in here. I'm gonna put a little of my seasoning on there. Yep. Let's see how I did. Oh, look at all that beautiful butter. I love this butter. Gobs and gobs of butter. Yeah. So good. It's like that meaty, dense texture of lobster, like a lobster tail. I don't know how that salt and that sugar firms it up, but it firms it up. Really delicious. That's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to click subscribe. Tune into my next video, whenever that is. I just randomly throw these out whenever. All right. I'm going to eat now. Take care. Oh, yeah.